What's up, guys? Nuance Bro checking in, and today we're going to be talking about a San Francisco man by the name of Christopher Kukor who got called out recently because he called police on a black man. Now, if you don't know the incident I'm talking about, it happened on July 4th, and it's been getting a lot of traction on Twitter. For example, here you can see a user by the name of Samar, and he posted this video, and he says, Christopher Kukor, a YouTube employee, called the cops on a black man in the Bay Area who was standing outside of an apartment building waiting for his friend to come down. Twitter, do your thing and expose him. And as you can see, we got the video here, and it's got, at the time of this recording, over 23,000 retweets and over 32,000 likes. Now, the video itself has also about 1.36 million views, and you can see up here it's posted by Tariq Nasheed, and he of course, posted this on his Twitter, and this is what he had to say. Another anti-black racist in the Bay Area was filmed while he made a fraudulent 911 call on an innocent black man who was standing outside of a building waiting on his friend to come down. The anti-black racist's name is allegedly Christopher Kukor, and he works for YouTube. And if we scroll down, we can actually see that he posted even more. He said, "Old Chris tried to delete info from his LinkedIn, Facebook, and other accounts, but we got them screenshots though." And you can see he posts screenshots of Christopher's Facebook and his LinkedIn profile. Now, if you don't know who Tariq Nasheed is, he's a well-known race baiter. In fact, you can see it here on his Twitter profile. He literally refers to himself as the world's #1 race baiter. Now, I'm going to play the clip in its entirety in this video. It's about 3 minutes long or so. And for those of you who haven't watched it, I suggest watching the full-length clip just so you understand the context. For those of you who have watched the full-length clip, I guess you can skip past it. Or for those of you who even haven't seen it, I guess you could, watch the rest of this video and then maybe come back to it later if you're interested. But here's the full-length video, and then we'll talk about it after it finishes.
Now you're in your sound being recorded.
Great.
I remember.
Please call your friend on the call box and have them come down.
They don't have to do that. You could just walk away.
I'm gonna call the police right now.
Oh yes. Call the police. Remember that. I remember this exactly happening when I used to live in my own condo, and then people used to call the police all the time.
Sir, I'll hold the door here for you while
That
you
is
call your
okay.
friend.
Nobody's asking you to hold the door. You can do whatever you want. But I'm recording you right now, and you're going to be the next person. Look at this.
You don't need to threaten me. You just need
I'm
to
not
get out of
threatening
the
you.
building. You are.
I'm not threatening
I'm
you.
going to be the next person what?
You're just going to be the next person on TV. Just remember that. And you have your son with you. That's why I asked you if that's your son. It's better. I will delete this.
Yeah, there's a trespasser in my building. He's refusing to leave and he's filming.
Listen to your son.
Daddy, go.
1868
It's the better. I agree with him, Daddy. It's the better.
At Washington.
Let's go. Please, I don't like this. I don't like
He's
this.
standing in the lobby. He's
Daddy,
refusing
I
to
don't like this. Let's go.
leave. He tailgated through the door as I left. He walked in.
Daddy,
I
let's go.
tailgated to the door.
He appears to be African American.
Appears to be African American.
Dad,
I don't know, 30s. He's wearing
35,
a
software
pink-
engineer.
Pink polo shirt and a Yankees cap.
All good.
Dad,
All good.
Daddy.
Software engineer, brother.
Dad.
Yep.
Pink polo shirt. Yeah. And tennis shoes, jeans. Yeah. You have to be here for when they call him.
He's filming me and refusing to leave and saying I'm going to be the next person on TV.
Yes, sir. You don't remember this? The girl that was
Excuse me?
like told
My name
he's
is
married. Wow. You know that's illegal now, right?
510 470722.
Yeah, that's illegal to call cops
He
on
said he's
African
here for a
Americans.
friend. He said he's waiting for a friend, and I asked
Yes.
him to dial on the call box, and he said he would not. So I have no way to know if his friend is actually here.
Yeah, so I'm here to just rob whatever. What,
I'm
a
asking
mailbox?
You, I'm just asking you for your friend's name.
I don't give a fuck. I don't have to tell you shit.
Did you hear him?
Yeah, he can hear me. I'm pretty sure he can.
No, he's not armed. As far as I can tell.
Let's go.
Listen to your son. Walk away. I will stop this.
Yeah,
I'll stop the recording.
I agree.
Yeah, please.
Let's go, Daddy. Let's go now. I don't like this.
Yeah.
Sucks, man. Hi, Kathy.
Told you.
I love you, baby.
Go now.
It took you so long to get here.
Daddy, look what you've gotten us into. Let's go.
My friend is handicapped. Just give me 1 second while you be an asshole to in front of your kid. Okay? Remember, I'm recording you. I'm fucking recording you.
Go ahead, record.
All right, I'm fucking recording you.
Hey, don't use that language in front of children.
Oh, well, it was your fault for bringing him out here in the first place. I told you, that's what I said.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, he's actually here.
Yeah, he's actually here. Yeah, go ahead. I'm recording you.
He refused to identify
No,
that he was here with a person.
Yeah.
And now
Look
he's
at you,
filming
look at
me.
you, look at you, look at you.
What
Look at
you
you.
doing?
Look at you, look at you, look at you.
Stop it.
Stop filming
Look at
me.
you.
Take
No,
your phone
no,
away
no,
from
no.
me.
If you
Take
touch
your
me,
phone
I'll
away.
fucking
Take your
for your
phone.
kid.
Take your phone away from me.
Okay, no, I'm not doing any of that. Now you're going to be. Now you're now
my God.
now you are online forever.
So there's a couple things of note in that video. You can see you have a man standing there with his son. They have the door open to the apartment building. They seem to be standing outside, closer to the outside at least, and you see him holding open the door. And closer to the inside, you see the black man who's filming the man holding the door open, who's accusing him or at least trying to gain information from him. And you can see the man, Christopher Kukor, he's asking him, like, could you buzz the person that you say you're here to see? He's asking for a name of the friend. And what does the person say in response? He says, I don't have to tell you. And then he yells some expletives. So he's being kind of disrespectful, kind of rude. And in my mind, the way I think of it is that person doesn't live there, of course. He's a stranger. He's a guest. He's a guest of someone else. But he's going into a building that he does not reside in. He's not a resident of that building. If I went into a building and I was a stranger or a guest of someone and I went in and a resident of that building asked me like, hey, I don't know who you are. Who are you? Who are you here to see? I'm not going to say, hey, none of your damn business. You should leave. You can just leave. I'm not going to be an asshole about it. And it's not like the man in the video decided to pick up the phone and call 911 right away. He was trying to get some information first to try to figure out, is this person just some random person coming in who might want to come and steal our packages or something? Or is this actually, this guy is actually a guest of somebody in this building, and he was trying to ascertain what was going on. Now, if you remember from the Tariq Nasheed tweet, he was saying how he called 911 on an innocent black man standing outside of the building. But that's not exactly the case. Remember, look at the camera angle. Who's standing outside the building? Who's standing kind of more on the inside of the building? I mean, look at the video. What did the man say on the phone to 911? He basically said that he opened the door and this man tailgated in. He wasn't buzzed in. He didn't use an access code. He didn't have a key. As soon as this man was leaving, I guess he opened the door, this man came in. So he wasn't just waiting outside. So he could have potentially been using this opportunity if he was a criminal, waiting until someone opened the door and gone in and stolen packages, vandalized property, who knows? Now, many are likening this situation to situations from the past where these white women have been calling the police on black children or other black people. They've had names like Barbecue Betty, Permit Patty, and Corner Store Carolyn. And I've seen people start to dub this situation as Condo Chris. So they like the nicknames there. But is this case really like the others? Because granted, in the other cases, if you've actually looked into them, the ladies really didn't have much cause to call the police on, like children selling lemonade and stuff. And it was always made into this racial issue, even though plenty of people have called the police on white children selling lemonade and all that stuff. And in this case, people are calling this man, this racist person because he called the police, as if the only reason he called the police was because this person was black, even though there's no evidence to suggest that whatsoever. He saw a stranger standing outside of his house, or at least outside of his building. And when he opens the door, this person comes in, not using an access code or a key or buzzing to get in, just getting in after someone opens the door, which criminals do in the city of San Francisco, as I'll kind of show you in just a bit some of the issues with San Francisco in this equation. But then on top of that, when the person kind of tailgates in, when you ask them about who they are or what they're doing here, they become belligerent and start telling you, you, a resident of this building, they, a stranger, telling you, you can just leave. It's none of your business. Like, I don't have to tell you shit. I feel like any person with common sense would be suspicious of a person like that. And in particular, I would feel that this Christopher Kukor individual would be suspicious of someone like that, just because we'll get into some of his history in just a bit, because it's very fascinating. Now, for those of you who don't know in the audience, this event did happen in San Francisco, and I think that is important to the story because we're talking about a situation where people in one city might not behave the same as people in another city. And I think context is super important here. Now, I'm someone who actually was born and raised in the city of San Francisco, so I know the kind of issues that are associated with things like this, and I'm going to show you some of them right now. According to CNBC, these are the top 10 cities where people Google search Amazon package stolen the most. And if we scroll down, we can see that San Francisco occupies the #1 spot on this list. Now, people don't Google Amazon package stolen for no reason. They typically Google something like that because their Amazon package was stolen. And San Francisco tops the list. So this is a problem. You can also see here in an article from the San Francisco Chronicle, SF crime epidemic, porch pirates swiping packages from doorsteps. And according to NBC, SF tops FBI list for property crime rate among big US cities. Now, I show that because I think it does bring important context to this video. Why would someone be so worried about some stranger just walking into their building? Well, I can speak for someone who actually lived in buildings like that in the past in San Francisco, these sort of shared common space apartment buildings where you had to be buzzed in to get into the building. But sometimes, maybe someone would leave the apartment building and then some stranger would walk in. You would hope that neighbors of yours would question strangers just walking in without using an access code or being buzzed in, because I've had things like bikes and other items stolen from, the building that I was in because random people would just come inside. So being a good neighbor and good citizen, Christopher Kukor decided to ask just basic questions that any reasonable person would at least expect a response to if someone was just a normal, decent human being. By the way, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but in the video, the man who was actually filming Christopher Kukor literally said that it's illegal to call police on black people.
You know that's illegal now, right?
510 470722.
Yeah, that's illegal to call cops on African Americans.
I mean, maybe he misspoke and he meant it's illegal to make a fraudulent 911 call. Maybe that's what he meant, but the way he phrased it, it's illegal to call the police on black people. I mean, that's kind of weird. But here's one of the most interesting points I think there is about this story. Christopher Kukor isn't just some, typical San Francisco wealthy tech employee. He's someone with a story. And that story is this. According to SF Gate, this article was published October 22nd, 2013. Slain Berkeley man's family says police share blame. Share blame for what, you might ask? Well, let's scroll down. Berkeley police are partly to blame for the slaying of a man who was bludgeoned by a mentally disturbed person, the victim's family said Friday, because officers weren't allowed to respond to his emergency call for help. The two grown sons of Peter Kukor, 67, criticized the police department for failing to respond to their father's call for help about an intruder on his property, noting that he had called a number that the police describe on their website as an emergency line. I'm aware that the police have stated that they made no mistake in their response to my father's call for help, Christopher Kukor, 37, said at a news conference. We find this very disturbing that a citizen's call for emergency help can go unanswered and leads to his death. He added, my father should be alive, and we hope steps will be taken to ensure that this could never happen to another citizen. And for reference, this was published in 2012. This is actually the man who was charged with killing Christopher Kukor's father. So you literally have a guy who had his father bludgeoned to death because there was a stranger who wandered on to his father's property, and his father decided to call 911 as well. Now, I'm sure if that guy had a camera and he was filming his father to his face, people would probably call him a racist as well, right before he gets bludgeoned to death. But this guy lost his father to a stranger who wandered onto his father's property. His father called the police. The police didn't respond or help. And because of that, his father died. Now, he walks outside with his son. He sees a stranger standing outside, which, whatever, not that big a deal, someone standing outside your house. But on top of that, as soon as he leaves, the guy goes in. Once again, like I've said throughout this video, without an access code, without a key, without being buzzed in, decides to just walk in after someone else opens the door. So, knowing what he knows about his father, and in the article, you heard him say, we need to take steps to make sure this never happens again. I think he has a little bit of reason to be a little suspicious of people, and given what happened to his father, just, I don't know. Maybe he doesn't want to have that guilt on his conscience, that maybe he could have just asked a few basic questions of someone just to make sure, hey, are you supposed to be here? Or maybe this could potentially be a crazy, deranged person off the street who decided to wander into my building and might do harm to my neighbors or my loved ones, my family. But everyone's giving crap to him as if he's this racist individual and they're trying to get him fired from his job. It's honestly disgusting. I mean, these people have no empathy. Even if they looked into the story, which some people did, I've seen comments on Twitter from people saying, well, his father actually got killed for doing the same thing, basically saying that his father was racist too, and that's why he got killed by the person that he was being racist towards. I mean, it's just absolutely sick stuff. And people like Tariq Nasheed, who traffic in this race-baiting nonsense and proudly proclaim themselves to be race baiters, I really hope that their followers see through all this and see how disgusting it is, and just they stop following this person, they stop promoting and retweeting their stuff, because it really gets toxic and it only incentivizes more of this call-out culture that ends up harming innocent people. But anyways, that's the end of the video, guys. I thought I would bring this story up to your attention. Frankly, I don't even think this should be a story. I feel like there was nothing of substance in the video itself, but the blow up that came as a result of it, all the retweets and people calling for him to get fired from his job and all this just disgusting sentiment. I felt like I had to make a video about it because I was pretty much, I didn't really see anybody else at first other than myself call this out for what it was, because it just seems so easy for people to pile on and hate on a guy and call him racist and gain virtue signaling points and say, wow, look how great I am for calling out a racist, even though this is just a father and his son, and he didn't do anything wrong. He was looking out for his neighbors for a justifiable reason, and he has this backstory, which is just, when you learn about it, it's just so horrific. And I don't know. I just thought I would bring it up to you guys. What do you guys think? What are your thoughts on this whole situation? Leave it down in the comments below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Social media links are in the description box below, as well as merch. And I'll see you next time, bro.